Chevy is a brand known for its sleek, sporty cars and trucks, but the Chevy Bolt EV isn't sleek, sporty, or a truck. It's just plain wrong in about as many ways as you can be wrong. But for those out of the loop, what are the reasons you need to avoid buying a Chevy Bolt EV? And more specifically, why should you watch out for all of Chevy's battery designs? Let's dive in. I'm interested in electric vehicles. Isn't the Bolt part of the future? Well, it's supposed to be. The Chevrolet Bolt is a hybrid electric vehicle, but while the Chevy Bolt may be a sign of things to come, it has been plagued by problems since its inception. In fact, Chevy revealed that the Bolt wouldn't be in their portfolio in a few years from now. That's not a good sign, and it should be a huge red flag for potential buyers. But why did Chevy make this decision? Chevy's Vice President of Marketing, Steve Majoros, stated that the Bolt won't be in their portfolio in X number of years. Essentially, Chevy has no plans to keep the Bolt around for the long haul. It's simply a stopgap measure until they can figure out something better. It's similar to buying the Nintendo Wii U. Nobody really liked it, nobody remembers it, and it was just a way to transition between the Wii and the Switch. The Chevrolet Bolt isn't some long-term project. It's a new technology, a flawed one, and it's failing fast. And that's not the only problem with the Bolt. Remember, there are some serious issues with the Chevy Bolt that should make you totally avoid buying one. I heard about some discounts that Chevy is offering on the Bolt EV. Is that a good deal? It's not a good deal if you're looking for an electric vehicle that will last you for years to come. In fact, it's a terrible deal, and one that actually reveals another reason you should avoid buying a Chevy Bolt in 2022. Before we dive into the specific reason though, let's dive into the details of the deal itself. In fact, the Bolt EV had up to a $5,900 discount for purchase, and the Bolt EUV had an even larger $6,300 discount. That's a huge amount of money, and it actually reveals something very important about Chevy's electric vehicle strategy. It's pretty clear that Chevy is trying to get rid of the Bolt EV as quickly as possible. They're offering huge discounts in an attempt to move them off dealer lots and make room for other, better electric vehicles. In other words, they're trying to get rid of the Bolt EV so they don't have to support it. And we hate to break the news to you, but that's probably a reason you shouldn't buy it. Okay, so what are the reasons you should avoid buying a Chevy Bolt? Well, there are quite a few. We've already discussed the first one. Chevy is trying to get rid of the Bolt EV as quickly as possible. They don't want to support it, and that should be a huge red flag for potential buyers. This is a gigantic issue and showcases the fact that you probably won't have support for this vehicle long term, and it will likely become outdated very quickly. Chevy is trying to push people towards their other electric vehicles, so they're not going to support the Bolt EV for very long. But that's not the only reason you should avoid buying a Chevy Bolt EV. In fact, there are quite a few others, and they're all serious issues that should make you think twice before purchasing one of these vehicles. Another massive issue is the batteries. This is probably one of the main reasons you should avoid buying a Chevy Bolt EV in the first place. Wait, what's wrong with the batteries? The batteries in these vehicles have been known to overheat and catch fire. In fact, there have been multiple reports of fires with these vehicles, and Chevy has even issued a recall for the issue. If you're looking for an electric vehicle, you don't want one with a battery that's known to overheat and catch fire, especially if you're looking for a long-term investment. But that's not the only battery issue either. In fact, there have been multiple reports of Chevy Bolt EV batteries losing charge very quickly. This is a serious problem and one that will likely only get worse over time. Plus, there's an even bigger issue with this whole ordeal, and that's the hot water that Chevy has been in recently. Maybe if there were one or two battery issues, the whole ordeal would be okay to overlook, and you would still be totally fine with buying a Chevy Bolt in 2022. But the hot water Chevy's been in just might change your mind. Wait, what's this thing you mentioned about hot water? Well, remember that rebate discount we were talking about? How you can get upwards of $6,000 off the purchase of a new Chevy Bolt EV? Well, there's a catch. In order to get the discount, you have to sign away your right to sue GM or LG over battery recalls or fires. That's right. If you buy a Chevy Bolt EV with this discount, you're essentially agreeing to waive your right to sue if something goes wrong with the battery. This is a huge issue and one that should be a massive red flag for potential buyers. Chevy is essentially saying, hey, we know our batteries have been catching fire and losing charge quickly, but if you buy one of these vehicles, you're agreeing to waive your right to sue us over it. That's not a good look, and it's certainly not something you should agree to. I mean, they're literally saying that you have to forever waive and release your right to sue GM or LG over battery recalls or fires. That's a huge issue, and it should be a deal breaker for potential buyers. But there are even more issues with this, and they all come back to the batteries. Remember how we said that Chevy is trying to get rid of the Bolt EV as quickly as possible? Well, one of the main reasons is because of the battery issues. In fact, Chevy has been forced to recall thousands of these vehicles, and if you purchased one, you might be next. Wait, what do you mean? Well, you might have missed the news, but Chevy was forced to recall tens of thousands of these vehicles due to battery fires. In other words, if you own a Chevy Bolt EV, there's a chance that your vehicle could spontaneously catch fire. GM had to recall all of their Bolt vehicles that were produced before, in 2019 and later, which is a huge issue. Basically, what this means is that there are thousands of Chevy Bolts on the market, all of which could catch fire at any time. That's a huge huge safety issue, and it should be a deal breaker for potential buyers. If you're looking for an electric vehicle, the Chevy Bolt EV should be at the very bottom of your list. There are far better options out there, and you're better off avoiding this vehicle altogether. Although this vehicle might look good on the surface, you have to watch out for quality too. The Chevy Bolt is sleek, clean, and modern looking, but it catches on fire like it's TNT fresh out of the bomb factory. This is a big issue and something that can't be overlooked. Think about it this way. Thousands of people have run into this issue, so staying away from the Chevy Bolt is your safest bet. Couldn't I just replace the battery? Well, you'd think so, but you'd be wrong. Car dealers have been caught quoting as much as upwards of $30,000 to replace the battery in these vehicles. That's a huge amount of money, and it's not something that most people are going to be able to afford. Though initially people were shocked by the numbers some dealerships have been quoting, and even thought these numbers might be fake, there's no denying that they are real. In fact, one dealership in Florida quoted a customer $33,000 to replace the battery in their Chevy Bolt. Not only is this a huge amount of money, but it's also an insane markup. Together, there have been over 20,000 posts circulating about the crazy cost of replacing these batteries, so it's pretty clear that this is a widespread issue. But that's it for this one. If you're looking for an electric vehicle, the Chevy Bolt EV should be at the very bottom of your list. There are far better options out there, and you're better off avoiding this vehicle altogether. There's really no question that Chevy screwed up the Bolt big time, and just because they're trying to get out of the issue doesn't mean you should be one of the people buying their car. After all, battery fires are nothing to joke about. But that's it for this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you're interested in more news. We won't just be covering the Chevy Bolt in the future, but for now, let's hope they manage to turn this into something positive. Chevy definitely has potential for the future, so maybe they'll produce a much better EV in a few years. For now though, it's definitely not worth it to buy one. Stay away from buying a Chevy Bolt in 2022.